Before we jump into today's Chiefs report, make sure you guys subscribe for the latest Chiefs news and rumors. And if you want to be a part of these mailbags, you got to be subscribed and join us on Mondays where we answer all of your questions. It's free. Hit the sub button. We're here 24/7, 365. I'm Harrison Graham, and you are watching the Chiefs Report. And on today's show, we're going to answer all of your questions. So use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and we will get to them right now here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. So go ahead and load them in. From Shad Jameson, is Chris Jones a top 5 candidate for Defensive Player of the Year? He should be in the conversation. I mean, he's 10-plus sack guys, an interior rusher, gets a ton of pressure. His pressure rate is, I think, best in the league, for sure among interior guys. He's so good. He's so underrated. He's an absolute monster. He makes this defense go. So, yeah, I mean, you take him off this defense. I mean, what's this defense? It's well below average. So I think he deserves consideration. He's that good. Tony Fuentes, what can the Chiefs do to get better on offense? Don't turn the ball over. I mean, seriously, they had 500 yards the other day. Just stop turning it over. If they play clean football, this team this is the best offense in the league. But the problem is they turn it over too much. I think they have, I want to say, like 21 turnovers now. So you got to clean up the turnovers. Really, that's really all that's missing. Like, just don't turn the ball over. Don't shoot yourself in the foot multiple times per game. Ice Mori, if we were to trade for a true number one receiver, could we even pay him? I mean, you can always manipulate contracts, right? You can, Mahomes' contract every year can be, converted into a signing bonus and more money pushed down the road. So they can definitely make room. Like, if you're saying hypothetically to trade for a DeAndre Hopkins this offseason or something like that, yeah, you could make that happen if you want to. Also, another way you could do it is you just let Orlando Brown go. Like, you don't have to sign him if you don't want to. So there's ways to do it. It's just a matter of if the Chiefs have interest in doing so. Is Jackson missing? I see what you did there. Should there be any concerns about this Seahawks game? Not concerns, but I do think the Chiefs need to play cleaner football. I mean, I've said that for a couple weeks now. They've kind of just been messing around. You get up way big on Denver. You throw 3 picks, get them back into the game. Houston, it's a scratch and claw game despite outgaining them by almost 300 yards. I'm not concerned. Seattle's been trending down. You feel like they kind of peaked about a month ago, and it's like, they've fallen back to earth. But they're 7-7. They still have stuff to play for in the NFC, a chance to make the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, you better be ready to go. If you play a C-level game and Seattle brings their A game, they could win. I mean, it's not inconceivable. Geno Smith has played very well this year. He's played like a top 10 quarterback. So the Chiefs need to bring it. Tyler Lockett, I think, is going to be out, but still, I think this is a game that Kansas City needs to be and should be focused on. Predict the score of this matchup, Chiefs-Seahawks at Arrowhead Stadium this week. What's the final score going to be, and who do you got winning? My way too early pick, I'll go like Chiefs, like 30-23, 30-21, something like that. I do think that Seattle will bring it, and they'll challenge the secondary as well. Aiden Bryce, when do you think Travis Kelce will start to decline? I don't know, man. I mean, 10 catches on 10 targets for over 100 yards against the Texans. I mean, the guy is just a magician as a route runner. He's a special player. I guess you can – it depends how you define decline. One thing I have noticed this year is they've lowered his snap counts just a little bit. I think they're doing that to try and extend his career. I mean, he's 33, so they're going to find little ways to, kind of get him less hits and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, you kind of thought it would have happened by now, but he's getting better with age. I mean, it's truly something to watch. So maybe 2 or 3 years from now, I don't think next year he's going to start declining. He's the real deal, man. He's chasing history. He's 4th all time in receiving yards among tight ends now. Tylene, what players should we target in free agency? That's a big look ahead, but, I'd like to get some more pass rushers. What would be sick is to get a guy like Javon Hargrave in here to pair with Chris Jones, someone like that. That'd be fun. Maybe a guy like who's the guy? Marcus Davenport with New Orleans, get him as an edge rusher. He's a free agent. I would look at that. OBJ, I'd still be interested in him if he doesn't sign with the team this year. So, I would I would look at those guys for next year. If you're talking about guys for this year, maybe OBJ if he gets healthy randomly here, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. From Tukey, what would a Juju contract look like? I think he's going to want a multi-year deal. You know, he signed this one-year prove-it deal this year, and he missed a couple games with injury, but he's proved it for the most part. He's still got a chance to have a 1,000-yard season. I don't think he's going to get, like, true number one receiver money, but what did he sign for, $11 million? I think he'd probably want, 2 years, $30 million, 2 years, 32, 34, you know, 15 to 17 million a year, maybe more. You know, he's a fringe one. He's a great 2, a low-end number 1, but he's producing, man. He's played really good this year. BetUS is the place to go if you want to go bet on some bowl games or NFL games the rest of the season, NBA, college basketball, whatever you want to go bet on. BetUS is the place to do it. Chatsports.com/ChiefsBet is the place to create an account with BetUS. Then you can plug in the promo code Chiefs125. That's going to get you an additional 125% deposit bonus. Put down $100. They'll give you $125 for free to bet with. Betting odds for this matchup: Chiefs 10-point favorites. The Seahawks. The over-under is 49 points between the two teams. What did I say, like 30-21, 30-23? So that's kind of close to what the point spread and total over-under is. Like the over, maybe take the Seahawks. 10's kind of a lot. Chiefs haven't covered a lot this year. So chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Promo code is Chiefs125. From AJ, we need some good pass rushers. Do you think we can get some in the offseason, and do you think Spags is still with the team next year? I'm just going to spitball percentages. Spags is back 63.8%. Still think there's a better chance he's back than he's not. Andy Reid trusts him, but depends on what happens in the playoffs, I'd say. Pass rushers, yes. I'll say this, Frank Clark has started to come on as of late. If you want to restructure and bring him back again next year, I think that could happen. He's been playing better. You know, I mentioned a Marcus Davenport. Obviously, the NFL draft is going to be a tool to potentially get some talent. But, yeah, I think getting a couple more pass rushers is something that I would look at for sure. Mr. Mello, Mohamad Sanu, why the Chiefs should pick him up. Should we sign him? I don't have much interest in Mohamad Sanu. He's not offering much at this point in his career. Shad Jameson, if Chris Jones wants a new contract this offseason like Tyreek did, would you sign or trade him? You got to keep Chris Jones. I mean, he is one of the most valuable defensive players in the league because he's an interior pass rusher that gets consistent pressure. I mean, that is a quarterback's nightmare. Like, when edge rushers come off, they can get around edge rushers easier. They can either step up or wheel out. You get pressure in a dude's face, it's hard to wheel out, man. Like, that's not what a quarterback likes seeing. Quarterbacks will tell you they'd much rather face external pressure from the edges than in-your-face pressure because, A, they stand in there, they're going to get cracked, and B, evading, especially if they're not mobile, is much tougher to do. Chiefs won. Will the Bills lose to the Bengals? I think there's a decent chance. That game will be in Cincinnati. I'll be curious to see what that point spread is. It'll be tight. Maybe Bengals 1.5. They'll probably be a slight favorite at home, but I mean, looking at this playoff picture, it's going to be a big one between Buffalo and Cincinnati in 2 weeks. That's a Week 17 matchup. So obviously, that game has huge playoff implications, not only for the entire AFC, but for the number 1 seed as well. So all eyes on Cincinnati and Buffalo here in a couple weeks. Mr. Mello, draft defensive back or left tackle in the first round. We'll see, man. Who knows what's going to happen with Orlando Brown? Who knows what's going to happen with Juan Thornhill? Does Brett Veach feel like this team needs another corner? That could be a possibility. So definitely going to have some options if you're Kansas City. Tony, will TCU win? I hope so, man. TCU, Michigan, college football playoff semifinal, Christmas or New Year's Eve. So in about less than 2 weeks. So it's creeping up here. So we'll see. I've thought about going to the game. I don't think I'm going to be able to work it out, but I'll be watching. I can promise you that. I'll be watching. All right, thank you guys for all the questions. At HGramNFL on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to hit me up over there, if you have any more questions, that is the place to do it. So appreciate that. Give me a follow for more Chiefs updates and other NFL conversation as well. That is where you can hit me up. It's at HGramNFL on Twitter and at HGramNFL on Instagram.